All right, let's get right into it. If you're running your Starlink on a solar or battery setup, in an RV, a boat, or off-grid, there's a really good chance you are just throwing away power. You're cutting your runtime short, and you probably don't even realize it. So today, we're going to fix that.
So let me just ask you straight up. Is your Starlink wasting up to 20% of its power right now? For most people who are using a standard inverter setup, the answer is, believe it or not, yes. And this has nothing to do with the dish itself, but everything to do with how you're powering it.
So here's the deal. The whole problem boils down to something called double conversion. See, your battery stores power as direct current, or DC, but you plug your Starlink into a regular outlet which uses alternating current, AC. It's the journey from the battery to the plug where all the magic and all the waste happens.
Okay, now look at this. This shows you the crazy path your electricity is taking. On the left is what most people do. Your battery's DC power goes into an inverter, which wastes energy just to turn it into AC. And then, get this, Starlink's own power brick immediately takes that AC and wastes more energy, turning it right back into DC. It's nuts! Compare that to the path on the right, a straight shot, battery DC to Starlink DC. Simple, clean, and way more efficient.
And here's the real cost of all that inefficiency. That wasted energy doesn't just vanish. It literally bleeds off as heat. It's why your inverter gets warmed to the touch. That heat is your battery life just evaporating into thin air, shortening your runtime for no good reason.
So how do we fix this whole mess? Well, the solution is actually beautifully simple in theory, but the execution, that has to be perfect. We are going to get rid of the inverter completely and replace it with the right tool for the job.
And this is that tool, a regulated DC to DC converter. Honestly, the best way to think of it is like a translator. It takes that messy, fluctuating voltage coming from your battery and turns it into the clean, perfectly stable DC voltage that your very sensitive Starlink electronics demand to run safely.
But now we've come to the single most important part of this whole explainer. This is the part that most people get dangerously wrong. The term 12-volt battery is, for all practical purposes, a lie. And buying into that lie is how you destroy expensive equipment.
Seriously, let that sink in for a second. A 12V battery is not a stable source of 12 volts. It's a range, a wide range actually. And that range is more than wide enough to cause huge problems if you just try to connect the wires directly.
I mean, just look at the numbers here. A fully charged lithium battery, it can be pushing out over 14 volts. That's nowhere near 12. And even a classic lead-acid battery swings up and down. The point is, both of these batteries spend almost no time at exactly 12.0 volts. This massive fluctuation is the entire reason just hooking it up directly is such a terrible idea.
So here's the bottom line. When you feed Starlink this raw, unstable voltage, you're opening the door to two huge dangers. Overvoltage, when your battery is topped off, can literally fry the sensitive electronics inside. And undervoltage, when the battery gets low, will just cause the dish to get stuck in this frustrating, endless reboot loop.
Okay, so we know the risks. How do we actually build this thing the right way for the real world? This next part is our framework for success. We're not just connecting wires here. We're building a tiny but very important power system.
And the order of these parts is completely non-negotiable. You have to get this right. Power flows from the battery first through a fuse for safety. Then it goes to your DC to DC converter, and only then, after the power is clean and stable, does it go to your Starlink. This order protects every single thing down the line.
And I really cannot stress this enough. That fuse, it's not optional. It is the single most important safety device in this entire circuit. It has to be on the positive wire, and it needs to be physically as close to that battery terminal as you can possibly get it. This protects the wire itself from becoming a glowing red fire starter if there's ever a short circuit.
But hey, unstable voltage isn't the only thing you have to worry about here. Getting your positive and negative wires crossed, that's called reverse polarity, is an instant silent death sentence for your Starlink. No sparks, no smoke, just dead. Then you've got current spikes. Starlink pulls a ton of power right when it boots up, and your converter has to be beefy enough to handle that surge. And finally, wire size. Using wire that's too thin for these high DC currents isn't just a bad idea, it's a legitimate fire hazard.
So, after all that work and careful planning, what's the actual payoff? Well, look at this. The jump in efficiency is huge. You're going from a system that's maybe 85% efficient on a really good day to one that's humming along at 95% or more.
That extra 10%, that is pure, usable internet time that you just got back.
So let's wrap this all up. There's a fantastic payoff for doing this conversion the right way for sure. But there is also very, very real danger if you decide to cut corners.
The benefits are just awesome. You get more hours of internet out of the exact same battery you already have. Your gear runs cooler, which means it's going to be more reliable in the long run. And, hey, since you're so much more efficient, you might even find you can get by with a smaller, cheaper battery setup to begin with.
But I need to leave you with one very serious thought. When you make a mistake with AC power in your house, a breaker usually just trips. Click. Problem solved. It's designed to be safe. Low-voltage DC power is a different beast entirely. Mistakes here don't always trip a breaker. They make heat. They melt wires, and they can absolutely start fires.
So the one thing to take away from all of this is really simple. In these low-voltage, high-current systems we're talking about, close enough is never good enough. You have to be precise. Double-check your polarity. Use the right size wire. Always use a fuse. Because in this world, precision is safety.